and weird. It says one day, son, this'll all be yours, and the banks of the river.
Hello guys, and welcome back to this week's video. So primarily I am a collector of physical video games, but of course I do like to play games digitally, of course, and what better way is there to play games digitally than on an Xbox Gamespass. But there are so many games on there and it's so hard to know what to play. If you're like me, sometimes you don't have tons and tons of time to play a game. Sometimes you want to play a nice short game you can complete in one sitting or over just 2 or 3 days, playing about half an hour at a time. So today we're going to be looking at 3 games that are available right now on Gamespass you can complete in under 2 hours. So the first one we're looking at here is the Artful Escape. So this is a really cool game about an indie guitar artist who's living in the shadow of his uncle. So in this game you basically explore your own musical talents, and he kind of builds himself as his own artist rather than just following in his uncle's footsteps. As a musician and myself, this game really spoke to me and it has such a cool style. This game is very linear and it's basically half a walking simulator, the other half being kind of a musical game, not so much like Guitar Hero though. So with this game you basically use the 3 face buttons and the 2 shoulder buttons to strum your guitar. So in some parts you are following along to what you need to play, but there's also some really cool parts where you can kind of jam your own guitar riffs. It's pretty simple, it's not exactly through the fire and the flames on Guitar Hero on Expert, but it's really cool and you definitely get a feel for the music and how he's just kind of growing as an artist throughout the game, finding out who he really is on a crazy trip throughout time and the galaxy. A lot of walking simulators can be really boring, and that definitely does not happen in this game. The variety of locations you visit throughout the game is absolutely breathtaking. You can really see that developers, Dinosaurs and Beethoven really put their time into making each planet a totally new and different experience. It is absolutely awe-inspiring how much art and love has been put into this game to make each planet just feel just better than the rest. It really is an artful escape, this game.
Metal Light Brigade! And not a single organism can compare to the power in these 10 little pigments.
The other area where this game really stands out is in its humour. It is really weird, wacky and zany. Kind of has that 70s psychedelic feel to it, but you can kind of customise it to be your own experience. Obviously Francis decided he no longer wants to be an indie artist, but you can go glam metal, you can go punk rock, you can go heavy metal. The music sadly does stay the same, but there is some small customizable options as you go through this crazy and weird ride through the galaxy. You can definitely see the kind of David Bowie inspired nature of this game. It's just that weird zany nature that really kept me playing to see the game through to its conclusion. So if you're looking for a little bit of escapism, if you're a bit of a music fan, or just want to have a trip around the galaxy, I highly recommend the Artful Escape. Also, if you're an achievement hunter, the achievements are super simple. Basically, you just have to play for the game. You complete this one in about 2 to 3 hours. Next game I want to talk about is The Garden Between. So kind of the meaning behind this game can probably be interpreted in a couple of different ways, but for my take on it, I think it's about a brother and a sister who are kind of trying to deal with the fact they're having to move house. It's kind of very stylized, very artsy, and a very cool little puzzle game that I originally actually played because the achievements are super simple, so definitely one for all you achievement hunters out there. This game is essentially a puzzle game, and kind of the puzzle mechanic of this game is all based around moving time. So it seems that after they've been struck by lightning, they can go forward and backwards in time at will. Sometimes the world changes with them, and sometimes the world doesn't change with them, and that's where the puzzles in this game really come into their own. As I said, this game is a puzzle game, and it is broken into several smaller levels. So each level is an island, which you need to find a way to get to the portal at the top of each island by kind of changing time, moving forward and backwards, and changing the world around you. Essentially, you have to get a light to the top of the level. This starts off really simple and gets more and more complicated as it adds more mechanics and adds more stuff in as the game keeps going. It's really cool how they've kind of designed the levels around the memories of the two children. It's kind of going back, looking through all the things that have happened in that house and trying to really store those cherished memories for the future. Of course, being a puzzle game, it's not quite as simple as literally just carrying your light to the end of the level. There are plants that will steal your light, so basically then you have to work out as you go through each level how to get the light past these light stealing plants, which again starts out very simple, but I will tell you this, by the end of this game, as it gets more complicated, I did unfortunately have to look up a few guides to get through some of the bits that I really got stuck on. Of each level, you'll be treated to a little tiny bit of a cutscene, and this is where I think the game is quite heartwarming. It really looks into the memories of the children, and each time it kind of puts it into a constellation of stars. I'm sure this has some really deep meaning, but just from an artistic point of view, it just looks really cool. This is also where a lot of the achievements from the game are hidden. So at the end of each level, you will get these little bits where you kind of have to shift the camera and shift time backwards and forwards to find a little friend hidden within the scene. Basically, when the screen starts to vibrate a little bit, that is when you've found him, and basically for most of these an achievement will pop. They are pretty simple to find, and you can really rack up those achievement points. So definitely a good one for you achievement hunters out there, as I said earlier in the video. Again, depending on how good you are at puzzle games, this game's around 2 to 3 hours long. I will admit I did have to look up a few of the puzzles. They do get pretty complicated later on, but yeah, it's a very nice kind of brain taxing game, not too long, really good one to jump in and enjoy. Final game I want to talk about today is Donut Country. This is a lovely, nice short game on Gamespass, super simple achievements, and you can really just switch your brain off and enjoy this one. It has, again, that weird, zany humour that we all love so much, and it has a very soft puzzle aspect to it. If you've ever played Beautiful Katamari before, this is kind of in a similar vein to that. You kind of play a game within a game. Not to kind of spoil it, but the Raccoon is playing a mobile game which somehow manifests into the real world. Maybe I'm reading into this one a little bit too much, but essentially you control a hole in the ground and you have to swallow things up, and the more you swallow, the bigger that hole gets. It's one of those games, it's very easy to pick up, it's pretty simple, but it's just a nice afternoon game. You can complete in 2 to 3 hours. It's nice and easy on the achievements and nice and easy on the brain and the eyes. This again is another game where the real star of the show is the humour, and where it really shines through in this game is between the two main characters, one of which being a raccoon. I kind of somewhat feel it has a kind of a social commentary on our obsession with mobile games, but again, maybe I'm reading too much into this. It is a nice, simple game. You can just kind of switch your brain off and try and follow the loose story. As I say, it's not exactly a Skyrim-esque story. It is not very deep. Essentially, that raccoon just wants to get the best unlock for his game. But yeah, the humour is really good in this one. But yeah, don't expect a very deep storyline. Just enjoy the ride. As I said, I would say this is loosely a puzzle game, but it is nowhere near as complicated as our last game, The Gardens Between. But it is some really cool kind of physics-based puzzles with this one. I quite like how you can try to transfer water using your hole. You can also put fire in a hole, and these kind of make the puzzles a little bit different. As I said, like all the games on this list, it is not a super long game, but it is a perfect game to switch off to on kind of a rainy Sunday afternoon, or if you're looking to rack up some simple achievements, this is definitely one to check out. I don't want to spoil anything, but it definitely gets very, very weird near the end. But it's a very short game, well worth checking out. All these games are on Gamespass, so they're free if you've got your Gamespass subscription. But jump in quick, as you never know when these games are going to leave the service. There we have it then, guys. They are free short games you can enjoy out of the hundreds available on Gamespass right now. So it's always good to have these little experiences you can just enjoy over a day or an afternoon. As always, I always want to know your opinion. Let me know in the comments down below any hidden games or short games you think I should be checking out. There's so much available on Gamespass and it's always changing. For me, it's my favourite way to play games digitally. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's video. Please leave a like, it really does help the channel. And also remember to subscribe. I put new videos out every Saturday and I don't want you guys missing any of them. So again, thanks for watching and as always, keep playing the game. See y'all soon.